Okay, start. Okay, start. Okay. So once again, very good morning. So please check my voice, your connectivity, everything is fine. Please check and confirm.
It's audible.
My voice is low or
It's audible, sir.
okay. Thank you. So in case my voice is not clear or you're not able to hear anything or if the screen is out, please let me know in the chat. So if you have any doubts at the end of the session, I can mute and ask your doubts and make some conversation. So in between, if you have any doubts or queries, so please raise me in the chat so that I can able to see and explain in the meanwhile. Okay. And yeah, this is it. So once again, please recheck your mics are muted properly, because if it is disconnected and again if it is connected means it will be unmuted, so it will make some external noise. So once again from your end, please make sure everyone's mic is muted properly. So next mic gets started. Just a minute. Yeah, yeah, good to go. Right. So this Angular session, first of all, I'll talk about some agenda of this. So this Angular session brings you the very basic foundation knowledge for getting started with your Angular learning path. Okay. So we are not going to jump directly into the coding area. So first we are going to learn some basics. So from that basics, step by step, we are going to enter into the learning path. Okay. So why? Because if you are learning any programming languages or any other things, you can directly jump into the programming language and learn the concept and directly apply the concept. Okay, apply the coding area or apply with the syntax. But if you are learning framework, not only Angular, if you are learning any framework in Python or in Java, any framework if you are learning, so we have to understand the basics of the framework. So basics means how the frameworks was created. So what are all the underlying technologies it is? So what is the rules it is following? What is the architectural style it is following? So these kind of things we have to understand first. Okay. Why? Because framework is not a single concept. So if you touch each and every part, there is a separate concept associated with it. So that first we have to understand the basics. Then if we are enter into the framework, then it is easier for us. Okay. So basics in the sense while talking about basics, it is not this is what, not a one-line single word examples or single word explanation is enough. So we have to understand the clear foundation of it. So in this way, I have created the PPTs, and in this way we are going to travel in this session. Okay. Angular. So what is Angular? What is the special features of Angular? We will come at after 20 slides. Okay. Before entering into this, first we have to understand why Angular. Okay. Primarily, so Angular is using for creating web applications. Okay. For front-end web application creation. So before that, we have to understand what is a web application, what is the benefits of web application, and why particularly we are using web application. We have to understand. Okay. So simply, there is an application. Okay. So I have to use that application into my system. So what I have to do? First, I have to download that application, or I have to buy the software from any other places, and I have to install into my system via some hardware drive. So after installing, I can able to use that application. Okay. So this is the traditional way which we use. So if I am using more applications into the same system, for each and every application, if I am downloading or if I am buying the software and installing it in my system and started using that software, it will be good. But at one stage, my system capacity is not enough to handle multiple applications. Okay. So this is a big problem. Then, by considering this big problem, we are moved towards web application. So if we see web application, whatever the application needed, if I want to work on that application, just if I have browser in my system, that one software, that one application is enough for me. Simply Flipkart.com, Amazon.com, so our e-commerce website is there, ticket booking websites. Okay. If I want to book train tickets, if I wanted to book train tickets, or if I want to register something, so for everything, for every kind of purpose, I can able to use this web application. Okay. www.com. If I provide that URL, then that application I can use in my browser.
Explain பண்ணிடுவோம் ஸோ அதை நீங்க நோட்
Right. So in this way, the web applications were used. Okay. So nowadays, most of the application creation in industries and in other organizations, first they are creating web applications. Then later, based upon the purpose, they are creating desktop applications or mobile application or whatever it is. So this is the actual history of using web applications. Okay. Next. So the web application will be hosted on a server, the configuration, those are all other parts. Okay. First, what is a web application? Technically speaking. So a web application is simply a software application that runs on a web server. Okay. So it is hosted on a web server, and that application we can access through a web browser over the internet. Okay. Simply, if we have URL, we can access the application. So in order to interact with that application, we are having graphical user interface support, GUI. With help of GUI with the web browser, we can interact with the application. So interaction means providing some data, getting some inputs, processing or doing our work in that application, like that. Next. Then what is a server? So server is not a big topic. Okay. Server is, if you want to understand, it is not a very big topic. Just simply I'm saying server is simply like a system. Okay. So our system we are having. So similarly, there is a system located in somewhere in geographical location. So that system is having high capacity of processors, high capacity of storage units and processing units like that. So why this storage units, high capacity of processing units are needed is the server needs to be handle multiple requests and process the request and again send back the response. So it is a physical or virtual machine and a software program that provides services or resources to other computers simply. So hdfc.com, indianbank.com, so that applications were hosted on a server. So that server is in some different location. We can access the server, we can make a request to check balance, to check transactions and all. It will give some response to us. So this Apache Tomcat, Wildfly, Glassfish, these are some kind of server softwares. This is actually the overall view of a web application. Next. If you take any web application, we can split that development part into 3 layers. So some people may already know this topics. Some people who are new to this session, so that not worry. The layers of web application. So the first primary layer we have is presentation layer, which is typically called as front end. So we know what is a presentation layer. So what we are seeing, what we are interacting with the application, that is called as presentation layer. First layer. Second, we have a business logic layer. So in this business logic layer is called as backend. So where we write our logical codes or business logic. Next. If it is an application, then mostly the data support is needed. So in order to store or retrieve data, we need data storage layer. This is called as database. So this presentation layer, business logic layer, and the data storage layer will interact with each other, provides a complete web application. Take any web application, it is having presentation layer, it is having business logic layer, it will have data storage layer, simply. Next. Let us see this one by one. Presentation layer. So particularly, this is our important part regarding this session. Why? Because we are going to concentrate on the presentation layer only with the help of Angular framework. So everything the user sees and interacts, including the design layout, is called as presentation layer. And it is responsible for rendering the content. So if any content comes from backend, it should display to the user in a user-friendly manner. So this is presentation layer. So if I want to create this presentation layer, if I want to develop this presentation layer, then what are all the technologies we have to use? So the first and foremost technology, we need HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript support. HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript knowledge we need first. Okay. Next, after learning this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we can go for framework. It's called as front-end frameworks. So this Angular, React, or Vue.js, these are all called as front-end frameworks. Some examples of front-end frameworks. And Bootstrap is also available. It's a CSS frameworks.
I'll
Right. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is the very foundation, very first foundation, and later we were having front-end frameworks. Next, business logic layer. So the business logic layer, as I told, where we are where we have to write our business logic code. So if I want to process any request from the front end, so processing means some operations like if I want to store the data, or if I want to validate the data, or if I want to match the data and fetch some matching records. So for everything, I have to write some logic. So that logic will be written in this business logic layer. So if I want to write the business logic, then definitely programming support is needed. So in this layer, we use technologies, our programming languages simply. So we have Java, Python, Ruby, or PHP. And same like if we learn the basics of the programming languages, then we will go for frameworks. Okay. If we take Java, we have Spring or Spring Boot framework. If we take Python, we have Flask, Django, Ruby, and Rails for Ruby or PHP. So this kind of backend frameworks is there for business logic layer. Finally, we have data storage layer. So simply database, So if any data comes from backend, it will be stored in database. If any data requested from the backend, it will be fetched from the database simply. So for databases in queries, transactions, and other retrieval and manipulation techniques. Then technologies used. We have two different kinds of databases basically. Okay. So one is relational database, and next one is NoSQL databases. Okay. So first one is relational database, second one is NoSQL database. Simply, based on how I am storing the data, will be categorized into this databases. So for example, if I store the data in table format simply, if I store the data in table format, like row and column, so that is called as relational database. So you'll have you're having one subject in your database DBMS paper. So RDBMS it is called as RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So in relational database management system, data will be stored on tables. Tables means row and column. So this MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle DB, Microsoft SQL Server, SQLite. So these database softwares store data in table format. Simple. Next. If I want to retrieve the data, there is a language called as SQL, Structured Query Language. So if I want to retrieve the data, I am having one language called a structured query language. So by using the structured query language, if I want to insert any data into the table or retrieve any data from the table, so those are all operations I can able to do. That is relational databases. Next, NoSQL databases. NoSQL databases means there is no table format here. There is no rows, no columns here. There is no structured query language here. So instead of using SQL, the data were stored in JSON format simply. So JSON format means key value pairs. So name Mike, address Chennai, okay, age 40, like that. If I'm storing the data in this format, that is called as NoSQL databases. So SQL databases, sorry, relational databases and NoSQL databases. This is basics of data storage layer. Fine. So now, hereafter we are going to concentrate on presentation layer. Okay. The next topic we have prerequest for Angular. So prerequest for Angular means before getting started with Angular, what are all the things I have to learn? Okay. That is our prerequest. Simply, we have to know the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These three things we have to understand, and some little bit basics of framework. Okay. Don't worry, I will explain you each and every corner. And now we are not going to completely look into HTML, and we are not going to write any programs in HTML and execute here. Just I'm going to explain some high-level basics of this language. So HTML is for structure, CSS is for styling, and JavaScript is for logic. HTML, hypertext markup language, is the definition. We have different kinds of languages, like we have programming language, we have structured query language, we have markup language, and all. So markup language means there will be no logic. We can't write any kind of logic in this markup language. Okay. So HTML is one of the markup language, and XML is one of the markup language, extensible markup language. HTML means hypertext markup language. XML means extensible markup language. Mostly this XML is used for adding configurations or providing configuration files or creating configuration files. The XML is used. HTML we mostly use it in creating web pages. Okay. Next. So it's a standard markup language is for creating web pages primarily, and it provides structure and the content of the web page. Simply, very simple. HTML provides the structure and content by using a set of predefined tags. So the word hypertext refers to the text that contains links to other text, other documents. Okay. So if you take if you see in this HTML, so if I'm referring any text, for referring the text, I should use some other text also, some other text. Okay. And each and every text is interlinked within the document. So that is called as hypertext, text of text, like markup. So markup means adding some specific details by using tags. Okay. So it refers to the practice of adding specific notations or tags to a document. And the document, how the document should be structured and formatted, that is based upon this markup things. And yeah, here in professional way, we call HTML as a HTML document, okay, or simply called as document. Okay. So if I'm saying, if I'm using the words document in some other places, don't get confused. If I'm using the word document, you should understand it is a HTML document. Okay. HTML document structure. Here, simply just think our body structure. Okay. Think our body structure. The same structure is used for HTML document also. So likewise, we have a head tag, we have a body section. So the HTML document starts with doc type HTML. So declaring that it is a HTML document, and it starts with the HTML tag. So the HTML document is wrapped means we have a starting tag and we have an ending tag. And the first primary tag we have head tag, and second we have body tag. So these two tags are our primary tags. So the head tag contains meta information and links. So if I want to understand a person, like if I want to know a person, so I should see their face first. Okay. If I want to identify a person, I can able to identify with the help of looking into their face. Okay. So same like if I want to identify what is the document, what is the type of document, then if I can refer the head tag. Okay. Then every content is given inside the body tag. Okay. So the visible contents of the web page. So this is the primary document structure. Next, elements of HTML. So as I told you, we are having multiple tags, n number of tags available in HTML. So each and every tag is used for each and every kind of content and structure. For example, so HTML represents for root element tag, head tag is referred for the metadata and every other information for the web page present here, and title tag specifies you the title, body tag, it contains the visible content. So this headline tag, paragraph tag, so hyperlink tag, image tag. Okay. So these are very primary basic tags. An unordered list, UL tag, OL tag, ordered list, LA list. So division tag, table, table row, table data, table header, form tag, which is a very important one because going forward in each and every places, we use this form tag. Inside the form tag, we use multiple places the input, the button, and all. Okay. These are some basic tag elements. So if you are new to HTML or if you are going to learn HTML, means don't try to memorize all the tags at a stretch. This is my personal advice, okay? And professional advice also. So don't try to memorize all the tag at a stretch. Okay. Just start writing your program in HTML. So if you are having a purpose, then based upon the purpose, you should match the tags. For example, if I want to create a form in my HTML, then I can see this form tag, and inside the form tag, what all I need to provide, I will learn that. Okay. So wherever you are having a purpose, then only you can able to learn very quicker and very easy. Okay. So without the purpose, if you learn all the tag at a stretch, then later it will be forgotten. Okay. Next, how the example of this is a very simple example of HTML document. So we have first the doc type HTML tag, HTML start tag. So the entire content should be wrapped inside HTML tag. So we have an opening tag and closing tag. And at start, I'm having a head tag. So at start, I'm having a head tag. Inside the head tag, I'm having a title tag. So as I told you, so the meta information we can able to identify inside the head tag. So if I see the head tag, I can able to see the title and other links so that I can able to identify what is the type of document. Then inside body tag, we use H1 and paragraph, give some content. The output of this particular HTML code is given on the right side. Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
But voice is low.
Oh, okay. Let's see this CSS will get something. Then after some words, if you are not completely familiar with HTML, just refer. Okay. Next, CSS, cascading style sheets. Okay. So the CSS is not a programming language or it's not a kind of markup language. Okay. So first understand that CSS and HTML is not programming languages. So your HTML is primarily used for providing you the basic structure and providing you the basic content of the web page. But the look and feel, the HTML can't able to provide. Okay. So if any web page needs to be very good in the look and feel, then good CSS support is needed. Then simply the CSS support is needed. Cascading style sheets. So it is used to define the presentation and the styling of the HTML documents, HTML or else XML documents. So we can control the layout, appearance, and visual aspects of web pages. So we have three different kinds of CSS. It's not different types. So how we are providing the CSS in the HTML documents? That is, we have three types. So inline CSS, external, internal CSS, and external CSS. Now listen. In CSS, we have properties. Okay. For example, if I want to change the color, I'm having color property, color red. If I want to change the background color, background image, background repeat, which is if it is not completely fit, how the background image should be repeated or not, background size, font family, font size, font weight. Okay. So this is related to the background color and background image properties. This is related to font. If I want to style the fonts, I can use this. So margin, padding, page related thing. And border, height, weight, positions, top left. So everything I can able to customize with the help of this property. Simply. Everything I can able to customize with the help of this properties. And again, one more time, if you are learning CSS, don't try to learn all the properties at a stretch. Okay. Just create your HTML document. In HTML document, if you want to change the font, then search for which property is used for to change the font. If you want to change the background, so search for which background, which property should be used for changing the background. So in this way, match your purpose with the property, then include that and learn. Next, inline CSS. So if I provide any HTML property directly to the HTML tag, that is called as inline CSS. For example, so this is a paragraph tag. So this paragraph content is paragraph with inline CSS. Paragraph with the inline CSS. So I'm providing the style equals color blue and then font size 16. Okay. So this P is called as tag name. The style is called as attribute, and within the double quotes, whatever the content I provide, that is called as value. Okay. So if you take any tag, it will contain the tag name, attribute name, and the value. So I'm using style attribute to provide CSS, and inside the double quotes, I'm having color is blue and font size is 16. So this is the sample output here. So head tag is normal, inside body tag, H1 is normal. So this is my paragraph tag. I'm providing the style attribute, color is blue, and font size is 16 pixel. Okay. PX means pixel. And paragraph within the inline CSS is the content. Then if I execute this, if I execute this, then the paragraph within inline CSS is having font size 16 and color is blue. It's there in my web page. I changed the appearance. So within the tag, if I provide any value of CSS, if I provide within the tag, that is called as inline CSS. Let's say here I'm having only 2 properties. If I have 10 properties, okay, if I have 10 properties, if I write those 10 properties within the same line, it is not a good in later. If I want to debug or if I want to add any properties, it is difficult. So then next step I will go for internal CSS. So simply not within the HTML tag. If I provide the styling properties inside the head tag, like this. There is a tag called as style tag. Inside the head tag, while opening and closing a style tag, within the style tag, I can write n number of CSS properties. Like I'm writing h1 color as green and font size is 24 inside this. So this is called as internal CSS. If I have 10 properties or 20 properties, I can give inside this. Okay. So this is an example. So title, style tag. For length constraint, I have given only 2 properties, same here. So h1 is the h1 tag. For h1 tag, the color red and font style italic will be applied. And if I execute, so this will be my output. Next. External CSS. Finally, if I have n number of properties, likewise, if I have 1000 properties or 500 properties or even 5000 properties, if I provide all the properties in this single document, it is difficult for me to read, if it's difficult for me to debug or do anything. Okay, so I write all the 500 or 1000 or 5000 properties inside a separate file, and I'm just providing a linkage to that file inside my HTML document. That is external CSS. Like this. Externally, I created one CSS document, and now in my .html document, I provide only the link, like this. Inside my head tag, there is one tag called as link. REL, the type is style sheet, text or CSS, and H reference is style.css. Okay. If this document find the style.css document, style.css file, then all the properties inside the style.css will be applied into my HTML document. Will be applied into my HTML document. So this is called as external CSS. So basically, you can ask, okay, sir, even 5000 or 5000 properties may be written. Yes, for any web application, if I want to make appearance very good, there will be no much kind of animations, more fonts, more sections I will use. For all those things, I will write n number of properties for paging, alignment, okay, and all. So that much of properties will be written. Okay. If you take any simple template, I'll show you later. So that template will have 1000 or 2000 or 3000 lines of code for a single page also. Okay. So that kind of properties will be given as a separate file. So till now we have seen what is a web application, what is the layers of web application, and what are all the technologies need to create front end. Okay. So HTML and CSS we have crossed. JavaScript. So before going to JavaScript, we'll take some break. Okay. Just as we are doing, we'll take some break, and I'll explain the topics inside this JavaScript. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
to break at 11 o'clock, sir. We'll
No,
continue.
no break. Just 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Have to cover a lot, so maximum 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, get some refreshment. Connect again.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this Angular you're taking, no, sir. We will be using TypeScript or Angular JS.
Yeah, that will I'll cover in the next slides.
Okay, sir.
We are using TypeScript only, but what is the reason why the TypeScript is came? So that all we need to cover as a separate topic. So I will cover it in
Yes.
the upcoming slides. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen. The next technology we're going to see is JavaScript. Okay. So in the previous slides, I told you, so HTML is for providing structure, CSS is for providing the styling, okay, and finally JavaScript, which we are going to use for some logics. Next. So the primary duty of the JavaScript is to make the web pages interactive. Okay? So in HTML and in CSS, we can't able to implement any kind of logic. Okay? So first understand this primary point. In HTML and CSS, we can't able to write any kind of logic. Okay. Next. So first of all, why we need this logic? A question. Listen. Consider there is an application without the JavaScript. Okay. We have HTML and CSS for front end and some other programming language, either it is Java or Python for the backend. Okay. Now there is a registration form. Okay. There is a registration form having name, email, password, address, and all. Next. So if the registration, what is the actual registration logic? Just from the user, we are getting the data and storing into the database. That is what the registration logic is. Okay. Technically. So technically, for a registration form, user will enter some data, will fetch the data through the backend. We're storing it in the database. Okay. Now, in HTML and CSS, in any other programming language, the logic should be written on the programming language only. HTML and CSS not having that capacity. So if a user enters the data, like instead of name, they are typing phone number. Instead of phone number, they are typing name. Instead of password, they are typing some irrelevant data. Okay, some different data they are typing. Then if the user clicks on submit, those data should be gathered and sent to the backend, because we don't have any logic in HTML and CSS. So the backend should be processed. Then from the backend, again the data should be validated, and again if it is wrong data, then it should throw the error to the front end again. Then from the front end, it should correct again. Then it should go to the backend. So this is a very unwanted process actually. Why? Because we are not, prevention is better than cure, right? We are not preventing the wrong data from the front end. So without preventing that, we are just sending directly to the backend, and from the backend it is validated, and again it is providing to the front end. So that's an unwanted process. So in order to reduce this complexity, JavaScript were introduced in middle of that. Okay. So JavaScript is like a programming language, and they are also called as scripting language. For example, in the same registration form, if I use JavaScript also, if the user enters phone number in the name text box, then I will throw the error at the same time. So you should enter only alphabet characters. In phone number, if I try to enter the alphabets, I should restrict to there, and only numbers are allowed. In the password, 8 characters should be there, numbers and alphabetical characters should be present. This kind of things I can write. So these are all called as validation. So if all the validation is passed, if the user clicks on submit, then only the data goes to the backend. Then backend no need to process anything. just directly it should send the data to the database. Okay, so half of the problem is getting reduced. So that is the purpose of JavaScript. Okay, it allows developer to add dynamic behavior to websites. Okay, enabling features like form validation, animation, real-time update without requiring a page reload. Okay. And one more thing, if the user clicks on submit, then it goes on backend, and again it is coming to front end. Means for each and every time the page is getting a reload. Again, the browser has to reload the entire page. So that reload problem is not present if we use JavaScript. Okay. Simply to provide the dynamic behavior to the web pages. So simply JavaScript is like a brain to the front end part. Next. In the beginning stage, some people may get confused. Java and JavaScript are interrelated, but that is not. Java is different. JavaScript is different. Completely different. It is. Okay. So Java is actually an object-oriented programming language, while JavaScript is a scripting language. So why I'm calling it as a scripting language, even if it is a programming language? Script, the word script. Okay. If any drama or movie, there will be a script, right? So if the drama or that movie proceeds on based on the script, then only it will be perfectly created. Okay. Same like we can write some scripts. So like this only the form should be validated. Like this only the input should be present. Like this only the validation should be happen. This kind of things, if I say by using the language that is called as JavaScript. It's a scripting language used for creating interactive and dynamic web pages. Okay. Next, we're going to see some deep concepts inside this JavaScript. So as like in other programming languages, it is also having variables, data types and all. First, if you take any programming language, first we will see what is that language, then what is the special features of that language. Then next we will go to databases, variables, strings, arrays, list and all. Okay, data structures. Now, variables in JavaScript. So declaring the variables, we can declare the variable by using three types. One is by using var, let, and then const. Okay. So I can use var in all the places also. I can use let in all the places. I can use const in all the places, but based on different scopes. Okay. For example, so variable means function scoped variables. It will be used inside the function. Okay. It will be assigned in one place and used within the function. And let it is a block level scope and for reassigning. So inside a block, if I create one variable and if I reuse the variable or reassign the value, then I can use let for the variable. Const means constant variable. So the variable value should not be changed and it is used throughout the program. That is called as const. So var, let, and then const. So here we no need to declare like in Java, int, boolean, char, like that we don't need to declare. Okay. Just var, can use either var or let or const based on purpose. Next, data types. So as like in other programming languages, it is also having data types. One is strings, numbers, booleans, list, JSON, like that. But here also we no need to mention it. Okay. So after this equals, if I provide any data with the double quotes, your JavaScript understands, okay, this is a string data type. And if I provide only number, it is an integer data type. If I provide true or false, it is a Boolean data type. So like that, the JavaScript will be understood. So same like in Python. So whatever the data you provide after the equals, it will be understood the data. Next, functions. So how to create the functions in JavaScript? Functions, it is a reusable code. If I want to create the function in JavaScript, then I have to use this word function. Then after this function, I have to create the function name. Okay, function name. So this is if I want any arguments I can pass, or even if I don't need any arguments, I can leave it as a plain parenthesis here. So here I have provided the arguments. Then open flower brace and close flower brace. Inside that, the function logic should be written. So here I have provided console.log. Just hello, whatever the name I am passing, it should print here. And this is the function declaration and function calling, just the function simply greet. Okay. So if I call the function directly, then the function will be executed. This basic, how to create a basic function in JavaScript, like is in this way. So we have seen what is data types, what is variables, what is functions, how it is created in JavaScript. Next, conditional statements. So it is simple only. So we have common if else conditional statements we are having. Just the if condition is satisfied, if plug will be executed, or else plug will be executed. So this is common and this is common as like in other programming language. Looping. So in JavaScript we have basic loops as well as we have some advanced loops is also available. Likewise, we are having for, while, and then do while. So after that do while, we are having for in and for off as well as nested loops. Okay. So similar to other languages where we can use, but this for in and for off is used for iterating over the list. Okay. If I'm having a list of data, like yeah, so this is the list. You can see the apple, banana, orange, the fruits. This is the list. If I want to iterate over this list, okay. So first I have to fetch the first element and second element and third element. Like that means either I can go for loop, or else in advanced level I can go for in or for off. For in or for off. Later in Angular part that one end I will see this for in and for off. Next. DOM manipulation. Okay. So this is one of the very important topic we have to understand. So the previous topics are all common. So this is specific to JavaScript. Okay. Document object model. So how we are accessing the data within the document. Okay. How we are accessing the data within the document. It's called as document object. For example, and it is used to modify the structure, content, and style of HTML documents dynamically. For example, here you can see variable name input equals document dot get element by ID name. So this document means the HTML document. Okay. There is no separate names for this. Whatever the document you are using, just use document. It's the keyword. The document dot get element. Okay. Get element. I am getting the element. For example, if any text box, the name is typing means I should get the data from the text box. Okay.
అరిసినాలియా వంట
So get element, I'm getting the element by which parameter? By id. Okay. I can get the element by id, I can get the element by name, I can get the element by class. Okay. So in which way I'm accessing the element, that is called as get element by id. Then the id name simply. Okay. So if I use this particular statement inside the input, whatever the data I'm having, that data will be present inside my, that will be accessed and stored in this name input variable. Okay. Next, name input dot value means, so I can manipulate the value. So whatever the value present here, up to this, the value will be present inside the name input. Then if I use this name input dot value, after the equals, what is the value I have, that value will be appended to the data, appended to the this name field. So document dot get element by id. This is called as DOM manipulation. DOM. Next. Events. So event means knowing the user actions simply. Okay. And tracking the users. So in web page, we have multiple events. Multiple events means, so we are going to interact with our front end by using GUI, which is graphical user interface. In system, we use our cursors. Okay. So with the help of cursors, mouse, we can hover over the element. We can click that element. Okay. We can drag that element. Okay. Key up, key press. Okay. Double click, triple click, or single click. Okay. So these kind of events were there. So if I click on that element, or if I hover over the element, if I double click on the element, okay, how the page should be responded. So that also I can able to control. That is called as events. For example, here simply document dot get element by id. I created a button. I created a button. The button id is my button. Okay. Then I am accessing that button id inside a variable. Next, I am adding an event. What is the event? My button dot add event listener. I should use this function add event listener. Then inside that click. Okay. So what should happen if I click that button? That is what the functionality here. And I created one function, and inside console, I provided a text. Okay. Here. So overall, if you see, if I click that element, the function will be triggered. Inside the function, there is a control print statement here. So this statement will be printed on my console simply. So this is one of the event, click event. If I click that button, the function will be triggered. Okay. If I click that event, this function will be triggered. So this is what, this is what the events in JavaScript. Next. Next. MVC architecture, model view then controller. So this topic is not related to Angular, but this topic we have to know because for the backend frameworks, mostly the frameworks is created by using this MVC architecture only. So later, if you want to interact between the Angular and the backend, so this MVC architecture topic is helpful for us. Okay. So I'll go over this topic quickly. And before that, one minute. Yes, listen. MVC architecture, model, view, controller. So in most of the backend frameworks use this MVC architecture. So how we are creating that application, how we are creating the code to do particular dedicated activities. So it is called as each and every process is dedicated to each and every component. Okay. So here we have model, view, and then controller. So model will do some particular kind of work, view will do some particular kind of work, controller will do some particular kind of work. For example, consider we are having a browser, just the client. So our system is the client. Somewhere there is a server is located. Okay. Somewhere there is a server is located. And inside the server, we have hosted our application. And that application is created by using model, view, and then controller. Okay. Model, view, and then controller. Next. If I made any request, okay, if I made any request, that request will be directly goes to the controller first. Okay. Controller first. Then from the controller part of code actually. If I'm saying controller model and then view, it is all on code. Okay. The controller code transfers the data and transfers the request to the model. So the model having the exact business logic to process the request. And if there is any need to interact with the database, it will interact with the database and fetch the data and do the processing. And again, it gives back the processed data to the controller. It gives back the processed data to the controller. Then the controller will interact with the view part, and the data will be binded on the view part, and it is sent to the response. Okay. Again, with a basic example. Okay. Consider there is a banking application. You want to check the balance. So www.hdfc.com/balance, let's say, /balance. Then there are other URLs also, /balance, /money transfer, /transactions, like that. Okay. So if the request is /balance, then the controller understood, okay, so this request should be transferred to the balance checking method. This request should be transferred to the transactions method. Like that, the controller will understood. Okay. The controller will transfer the request to the model. The model interact with the database, get the balance, and send the balance to the controller, balance data to the controller. Then the controller will send the data, will bind the data with the view part and view. It is displayed to the browser. Like your balance is this. Now here, our Angular will works on this view part. Okay? Our Angular will work on this view part, but in a different way. Okay. So if the application is not using Angular, consider clearly, if the application is not using Angular, then the controller, model, and the HTML pages were there in the single page. Sorry, were there in the single application directory. Okay. But if we are using Angular, then Angular itself, it is considered a separate application, and the controller model part will be considered as a separate application. The whole application will be works on MVC pattern. So likewise, I'm saying, so this controller and model carried out by the backend framework. Okay, this controller and model carried out by the backend framework. The view part alone is created by using Angular framework. Okay, is created by using Angular framework, and it is a separate Angular project, and it is a separate backend project. Either it is a Java or Python. Okay. Now again, sir, how
Sir,
then?
viewport is, sir, can I
Yeah,
ask doubt?
yeah, sir, tell me.
Sir, viewport is depend on front end and controller model data, sir.
Yeah, it is depends on backend. Exactly. Okay, sir. So the view part is a separate Angular application, and the controller model and the other parts is completely a backend application. Okay. Then interaction. So this Angular application runs on one port, and the backend application runs on another one port. Okay. By internal configuration, the two ports will be interlinked. Okay. Then the data transfer between the backend to the front end and the front end to the backend with the help of HTTP calls. With the help of HTTP calls, HTTP post request, HTTP get request, HTTP put request or delete request, whatever it is, it will be interacted with the HTTP calls, and the data transferred in a JSON format. Simply, the data transferred in a JSON format. For example, if any request is made, the controller and model will process first, and it will fetch the data. It will send the data in JSON format to the view part. Then view part Angular handles the fetching the data from the backend and displaying to the user. Okay, so this will be as a separate application, and this will be as a separate application. We'll talk about more deeply later. Okay. So this is what actual architecture if we use Angular. Okay. So those who attended Spring Boot session, they know. So in that Spring Boot session, we saw what is controller, how to create controller, how to create model, but view part we didn't touch. So if you want to view part, we write some HTML documents in the same application. And if it's an Angular, then Angular is a separate application, and the um, backend service is a separate application. Let's see some text. So it acts as an intermediary between the model and simply. So same process, it receives user input, perform action, orchestrate the flow of the data between model and view. So this is responsibility of a controller. Simply, it controls the flow. Controller, simply, it controls the flow. If I say model having exact business logic, like n number of classes, n number of methods were given inside model. Based upon the request provided by the controller, that method or that class will be invoked, and the business logic will be getting processed. Okay. So model having business logic. Controller don't have any business logic. Controller work is to get the request transferred to the particular model. Okay. Next, view path. This is our presentation layer. Use it to present the data. are used to get the data from the user. Okay. Displays the information to the user, handles the user input and forward to the controller, can observe the model for changes and update the data accordingly. So this is view part. So we are actually working on this view part in Angular. Okay. Just give me a minute. Let's continue. Next, framework. So what is this word frameworks is actually we are going to see. But in initial stage, before introducing the framework, if you see any technology, it will be a very big burden to maintain the code, to debug the code, or if you want to scale the code, it's also a very big burden. Okay. Why? Because first of all, if I take any web application, so after the development, there will be more configurations we have to do. Okay. So configurations means if we are using any external dependencies, if we are dependent on any external classes, okay, and if we are interacting with any databases or other APIs, okay. So for all the things, we have to do the configuration first. Configuration means setting up the URL, setting up the username, setting up the password. Okay. If connectivity goes wrong, setting up the exceptions. Okay, and all. So many things were there inside the configurations. Okay, we have to do the configuration a lot. So as a developer, as a developer, we should concentrate on developing the code, writing the business logic, and providing the output. Okay, that is our primary responsibility. But if we are concentrating more on the configuration, then what will happen? The development time will be increased. Okay, why it is increased? Even if we do the configuration, we are not 100% sure that our configuration will work or not. Our versions of jar, our versions of dependencies will be suitable or not. Our structure will work or not. We don't know 100% of sure. Okay, and there are so many boilerplate codes we have to write. Boilerplate code means the code which is repeatedly using for the same kind of purpose. Okay. Boilerplate codes we have to write for even simple purpose, simple logics. So these many complexities were there in the application development, not only in backend, but frontend also. Okay. Next, that's why we came into this concept of framework. The framework will be created by some set of developers. Okay, and it is created as a product, and they will say like, developers, please use this product. If you are using this product, we will provide some benefits. Okay, what are all the benefits? First of all, you no need to concentrate much on the dependencies. Dependencies means for our basic application functionality, we need some external resources. So that external resources, within just one line of configuration, it will be accessed within our application. You no need to concentrate on the external resources. You no need to concentrate much on the boilerplate code. You no need to concentrate on structure, functionality. Okay. Most of the things what you needed, we will provide. The framework providers say, okay, we will provide them. You just have to use our framework, just start writing your code, just execute the create the application. Simple. Okay. Next. In programming, a framework is a pre-built structure. Okay, pre-built structure or a set of tools and convention that provides a foundation for the developers. Okay, so there is already a foundation. There is already a foundation with the minimal configuration, with the minimal dependencies, with the minimal resources. We just have to use the pre-built structure, pre-built foundation, and start creating our application. And it is essentially a reusable, generalized set of components, libraries that simplifies the development process. Okay. So for common tasks, some predefined functions were already available. We can use that function. Okay. We can use that function. We don't need to concentrate much on the configuration. So everything will be provided by the framework. So if we use the framework, then definitely the development time will be reduced. We can deliver application in more quick. That is what the beauty of framework. That is what the concept of framework here also. Okay. Now, our Angular is also a framework. Angular is also a framework. Angular React is also a framework. It's a front-end framework. Mostly we'll call it as front-end framework for creating presentation layer in web applications. And let's go now. So hereafter, don't worry. Most of the, quite some basics were covered. Okay. Now we are entering into Angular. First thing, definition. Okay. So Angular is a, this is how you have to frame the definition. So Angular is a popular open source. Okay. Angular is a popular and the open source web application framework. Okay, web word should be present. The single page application word should be present. Okay, and for creating it is dynamic web pages. So Angular is a popular open source web application framework. So it allows developers building dynamic single page web applications and dynamic web pages. Okay. Next. It provides a comprehensive set of tools and libraries for various aspects of web development. It provides a comprehensive set of tools and libraries. Okay. Tools and libraries for what? For various aspects of web development. So what is this various aspects? For example, if I'm going to create my presentation layer, I want to include some animations. I want to include some additional validations. I want to connect with some different resources. For each and everything, the set of libraries, set of tools were provided inside our Angular. So we no need to externally do these things. It is already present inside Angular. We just have to use it simply. It offering a structured way to build large scale and maintainable applications. This word is also very important. Large scale and maintainable application. Okay. So without using this Angular framework, if we go normally to create web application front end, we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, simply. But if the application size grows, then the HTML document is also increased. CSS will also increase. JavaScript code will also increase. For example, 100 HTML pages for a big application. 100 HTML pages I'm having. Okay. Then for that, CSS pages should be created, JavaScript pages should be created, and all. So if I want to develop further more, or if I want to debug something, or if I want to remove something, it is a very difficult process because there is a lot of HTML pages there. One page, which page is linked to which page, I'm not sure completely. So that for you're going for a larger application, it is a big problem. So your Angular reduce that problem. It offering a structured way to build large scale and maintainable application. Maintainable applications means if you want to add anything, you can directly add it. If you want to remove anything, you can directly remove it. Okay. If you want to upgrade anything, you can directly upgrade it. So without considering other complexities, that is what. Okay. Without considering much on the other complexities. So this is what a overall view of an Angular. So Angular is a popular open source web application framework for creating single page web applications and dynamic web pages. It having some tools and libraries for web development and structured way to build a large scale and maintainable application. Okay. Right. Before that, we need to show you something. Okay. Okay. We'll take 5 minutes break. Okay. Then I'll show some live example on how this will work. Okay. Okay. We'll continue around 11:50. Okay. Listen. Share your own thing.
Yes.
Okay, listen. So this is actually a demo web page. Okay. So there is a website called as W3 layout where we can download or buy the websites, sorry, web pages. So see, I have took one basic web application template. So it is actually a template. There is no backend link or anything. It is just a set of HTML pages and CSS pages. If you see here, so this is all forms and some texts were given, some images and all. Okay. Now the home, this entire thing is a single application, single HTML page, HTML doc. Okay. If I want to go for about, if I click, then again you can see it is reloaded and the about page will be displayed here. Okay. Then again, if the pages, under this pages there are so many pages are given, with so many options are given. If I click page 404, okay, again it will be redirected and the entire page will be loaded. So the same process for everything. So entire page will be loaded again and again. Okay. So this is the actual work. There is no framework here. It's a direct application, direct set of HTML pages. So if I click each and every option, a new HTML page will be loaded and displayed in the browser. Next. You'll see this inspect. If you click on that inspect, that coding elements will be displayed here. And honestly, I just leave it. In sources, you can see there is folder named as assets. There is one .css. Okay, not this. This one, this assets. Okay, see here. Inside this assets folder, we have CSS folder, images folder, and JS folder. It's simply JavaScript. JavaScript, if you want any images, actually this website's images will be present inside this folder. And CSS, we have one CSS file. If I open this CSS file, okay, the right side you can see. On the right side you can see CSS. Okay. Now I'm scrolling down. You can see it goes on 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000. Almost it is, yeah, 16,352. Okay.
Sir, my voice is too.
Now, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Listen. So almost 16,000 lines of CSS code, CSS properties, everything. Okay. I told you earlier now, in external CSS, if the property sizes grows, we have to keep all the properties inside a separate file and we have to link it, right? So that is what happened here. For this website, there are almost 16,000 CSS properties were used. Next, these are all some JavaScript code and there is no jQuery for it. Leave it. Okay, so this is what the traditional application without any framework. If I want to move between one page to another page, the entire page will be reload. Okay. So almost in here we see home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Most probably almost 25.html files will be present in for this web page. 25. Okay. For each and every action, the each and every page will be reloaded. Next, we will compare this particular logic with Angular, how it looks like in the next upcoming areas. Offering a structured way to build a large scale maintainable applications. Okay. So in that application we have 25 files. If there are 100 files or 150 files or even 200 HTML documents will be there, means it is hard to maintain. Next, how this kind of problems will be reduced in Angular, we'll see while working on with practical session. Next, features, special features of Angular. So this is what the learning path. So whenever you learn any new topic or any new programming language, first learn what is that language, what is the purpose of that language, then learn the definition, then learn the features, and then start learning the internal concepts. Next, features. First point, TypeScript framework. Okay. So initially you said JavaScript. Now in Angular it is saying TypeScript framework. Then what is the difference? Okay. So I have a separate slide in the next. I will explain that. So first keep this point. Our Angular is a TypeScript framework. First. Second, component-based architecture. So component-based architecture means, again, I'll share the same. Easier for you. Component-based architecture means you can see this is an entire HTML file, but I am saying I can split an Angular like this particular tab is one component. This navigation bar is one component. This appointment is one component. Okay, and this sliding window, this is another one component, like that. And if the download, and the footer component, the footer is a separate component. So in the entire HTML document, I can split each and every part into separate blocks. Okay, into separate block. So this is footer block, one separate thing. This is navigation bar, a separate one. And this is we click explore more, what will happen. Okay, about this make appointment. Let's say this is another one component. So the entire page in Angular created on different components. That is called as component-based architecture. Okay. We'll come later. What is component at the time of working? So if I say each and concept, I will explain. Then I will explain at the time of working with practical session. Why? Because if I explain orally, it will be not that much understood. So if I provide some example, it will be easier for you to understand. Okay. Next. So Wrangler is a TypeScript framework and it is component-based architecture. Next. Two-way data binding. Data binding is one separate topic. If we want to get the data from the backend and display to the front end, that is called as one-way data binding. Just we are getting the data and displaying to the front end. Next, the same data, if we want to change to the backend, means the same data we can able to change. That is called as two-way data binding. Displaying the data as well as modifying the data. Next, dependency injection. So dependencies means external resources simply. Okay. So externally, what are the resources we need it for our web application front-end development? That thing will be that features will be provided for you. That is separate one. I'll explain. Form handling. Okay. Angular provides efficient form handling techniques. Efficient form handling means form is the primary component for any web application. Why? Because to interact with the user, to get any data from the user. So if and only if the data, then only we can able to process the data. So form is a very important one. So our Angular provides efficient technique to handle the forms. So form handling is the main. HTTP client. So HTTP client means how we are interacting with the backend services or other external services via HTTP protocols. Yes. Routing. Routing means transferring the, I mean, interlinking with one page to another page. Okay, routing from one page to another page. Testing. So Angular provides technologies for called unit testing. Sorry, unit testing. So if we want to perform any unit testing for the logics which we write in front end, Angular performs the technique like Karma and JSON are the two frameworks for used for unit testing. And finally, cross-platform development. Cross-platform development means we can create web application by using Angular, and also by changing some things we can create mobile application also. We can use it for mobile application also. But nowadays, mostly they are not concentrating on using Angular for mobile application creation because there are other efficient frameworks like Android and Android Kotlin, Flutter. This kind of technologies were there. So people who are focusing on creating mobile application, they are using that technologies rather than using this. Okay. So, but now, even though we have cross-platform development support in Angular. So these are the notable special features in Angular. Okay. Next. Angular prerequisites. Okay. So prerequisite learning path we have seen. Now, if we want to work on with Angular, what are all the things we needed? So the first technology we need Node.js. Okay. So if we are working on with Java, then first we will install JDK, which is Java Development Kit. If you are working with Python, then Python related software should be installed. Same like for Angular, Node.js we should install first. Okay. So it is a JavaScript runtime. It provides a runtime library in order to work on with Angular applications. Next, along with that, we need npm support. npm means Node Package Manager or Package Management. Package management means simply for our application development, what are all the classes, what are all the additional supports needed. That supports will be present inside that Node package. So from that package, what are the things needed, it will be loaded. It will be loaded into our application via this npm Node Package Manager. Next, Angular CLI, command line interface. So if we use IDE, we can create files, we can create directories, anything. But with the help of CLI also, we can do the same purpose. if I want to create any component, if I want to create service file, if I want to run my application, if I want to create a new project, if I want to build application, there are set of commands where the Angular commands. So by using those commands, I can perform the actions. So in order to do this, we need this Angular CLI support, Angular command line interface. And we should install this Angular CLI globally. Globally means at the root directory we have to install this npm. Sorry, CLI. And finally, text editor, which is our IDE. So now in our session, we are going to use this Visual Studio Code because Visual Studio Code is most familiar to many people, and at the initial learning stage, it is a very easier one. So if you are familiar with any other IDE or any other tools, then that's also fine. Okay, it's not a strict requirement to use the Visual Studio Code. We can use any other IDEs also. So these are the basic Angular prerequisites in order to get started with work. Node.js, npm, Angular CLI, steady. So where do I get this node? If I search this Node.js download, then the first website gets played for you. So https://node.js.org. This is the official website. Node.js.org is the official website. If you enter into this website, the versions will be shown. So one is LTS and another one is current version. LTS means long-term supported version. So long-term supported version is there in all tools. So what is the actual LTS means? The stable version of the product. So the stable version of the product. Then current version means simply the latest version. Okay. So better we should go for LTS version, long-term supported version, and install .msi file of 64-bit based upon your system requirement. So at the time of I create this PPT, it is 18.16.0, includes NPM 9.5.1. Maybe now if you try, it may be different versions, different LTS versions also there. Next, set up
Sir,
the
which one happened, sir?
which one? I'm sorry, once again. I didn't get your voice, it is broken.
LTS or current?
LTS version, that's what we have to go for LTS version, long-term supported version.
That means window install HTML.
Yeah,
Oh,
Windows installer.msi. This is the
okay, sir.
next. Finally, if you double click and launch that .msi file, the dialog will be open. There is no complex installation steps were there for our Angular. Okay, everything is a straightforward. Okay. So keep that in mind. Everything is a straightforward. So just click on next, accept the license, choose the destination folder, then select the runtime. This is also we don't need to select this. Directly click on next. Directly click on next. We don't need to use this. So this chocolate tree and this is all we don't need. So I unchecked it. Then finally install. So Node.js will be installed. So this is the final pop-up. Next, Node.js we have installed. Second, we have to install the Visual Studio Code. So VS Code, Visual Studio Code download and download for Windows is also straightforward. So it will be downloaded. it will ask for license agreement. Then I select this. If you want to create desktop icon or other configurations, you can do this. And then finally click on finish. Okay, so that is Visual Studio Code. Next, we install Angular. Sorry, we install Node.js and we install VS Code. Right. The next few minutes topic, which is a very important one. So please be focused on the next topic. Okay. Listen. There are two things in our Angular framework, or we can call it as there are two different versions. One is Angular JS. Second one is Angular. Okay. So what you are confusing now? Okay, don't get confused. Listen. We have two versions. One is Angular JS and another one is Angular. So the Angular JS released in 2010. So this is the first official version of Angular. This is the very first official version of Angular JS, Angular framework. They call it as Angular JS because the Angular JS written in JavaScript language. The Angular JS written in JavaScript language. And Angular, this is officially written in 2016 and it is written in TypeScript language. Okay. Nowadays, we are using only the Angular, which is the second version, written in TypeScript. Okay. So after the first version of Angular JS, the next and all versions were created by using TypeScript only, and it is called as simply Angular. If anyone is saying Angular JS, then understood it is a JavaScript related Angular, which is the first version. If anyone is saying Angular, then understood, okay, this is a TypeScript related framework, TypeScript related Angular framework. So after the second version of Angular, the third version, fourth version, till now we are using only the TypeScript versions. Okay, make it clear. Make it clear. Angular JS is a JavaScript and Angular is a TypeScript. The latest version. Latestly, we are using only the TypeScript. What is the TypeScript? I will come later. And the point. So why we moved from JavaScript to TypeScript? Again, we have a question. Okay. So initially, while using JavaScript, it was good, but there are some problems with that. So what does the problems means? Before that, your your browser supports only JavaScript. Your browser supports HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that's why at initial stage they created Angular framework with the help of JavaScript. Then there are some security issues, where there are some security issues where there. Why? Because JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. Dynamically typed language means we can't able to provide static typing. So what does this dynamic typing and static typing again? So internally I'm going so many topics. So please concentrate. So int a equals 10. If I write this is called a static typing because int a equals 10 means in that a variable I can store only integer values. If I provide int a equals high in the string, then it won't accept. Okay. But in JavaScript, where a equals 10 means it is understood as integer value, where a equals hello means it is understood as a string value. So this is called as dynamic typing, and previous one is called as static typing. So JavaScript is a dynamic typed language. So dynamic typed language, which is less in terms of security. Okay. But because in runtime we can change the value so that it may produce some kind of problems in the future. Okay. So some kind of complexities were there, and there is no classes, there is no interfaces. So this kind of problems were there in JavaScript. So again, there is a dedicated language needed to create Angular for to reduce this kind of problems. Then they created TypeScript. Okay. Then they created TypeScript.
Sir, the simple Angular accept the var, int, and const, all the three data types, sir.
That also accept. I will tell in the next point. Right. TypeScript. So the TypeScript is not a separate language. It is a superset of JavaScript. So superset of JavaScript means what are the functionalities you performed using JavaScript, that functionalities is also work in TypeScript. But apart from that, we can use additional functionalities in TypeScript also. Simple. Okay. So whatever you use in JavaScript, that will be supported in TypeScript also. But apart from the JavaScript, there are some additional things were there in JavaScript. Like we can implement static typing. So if it is a superset of JavaScript, so we can implement static typing as well as dynamic typing in TypeScript. We can implement interfaces. We can implement enums. We can implement classes. We can provide access modifier and advanced tooling. So advanced tooling means suggestions. If we are working with any IDE, it will provide some suggestions for us to next what should be there. And if we provide any wrong uh, providers or namings, if we missed anything, then the suggestions will be shown. That is called as advanced tooling. Okay. So these and all the special features of TypeScript. And there is no need of separate. You have to learn the TypeScript separately. If you learn the basics of JavaScript, then TypeScript is also similar to that. So then no need to learn as a separate one. Okay. So these are all some of the notable features of TypeScript language. Okay. I hope the things are clear with AngularJS difference and Angular difference and what is TypeScript and why we are using TypeScript nowadays. Okay. 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 We'll be back in. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Let's get some break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. We'll continue.
ஹலோ இந்தியரா
சொல்லலாம்
It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Listen. So up to this, we have seen the topics. What is the prerequisite is needed for learning Angular? With the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript basic knowledge. Then what is the framework we have seen? Then after that, MVC architecture we have seen. So how it is working. Then later we start with Angular. So what is Angular? What is the purpose? And we have seen some special features. And what are the prerequisites? And finally, we saw what is the difference between AngularJS and Angular, and what is actually the TypeScript. Next, there are some CLI commands were there. There are some CLI commands were there. I'll show the commands and what is the purpose we use. Then later we are going to use the CLI commands. Angular CLI commands. Okay. So the first one, I need to check the version of the node. Okay, Node.js we have downloaded and installed, no? So I need to check the version. So this is should be happen in the CMD. It's a normal command, not CLI command. To check node version. So this should be happen in CMD command prompt. Okay. So node -b. Okay. So if you provide this,
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
yeah,
Version 20.
just a minute. There is some external noise. One minute, I will mute the. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, listen. To check node version in CMD, we have to use this command. Next. To check the Angular CLI, if it is already installed. Okay, wait. First, I'll. To check the Angular CLI version. So this all should be happened in command prompt only. If the Angular CLI is already installed, then this command will work. ng version, ng space version. If you want to install Angular CLI, we have to run inside the command prompt. This is also in CMD. What command? npm from node package manager. npm install -g. Okay, npm install -g at angular/CLI. Okay. This is the command to install Angular CLI. Once it is installed, in order to check the version, we can go for ng version command. Okay, here to check additional commands. In order to check this additional commands, we use ng help. If we execute this ng help, then what are all the additional commands it is available, it will be displayed. Next.
Sir, I got the of Anglo CLI, sir. That means it shows npm notice, that it shows, sir.
Are you getting any error or yeah? Wait. Then we'll check. Wait. Next, install node packages. To install node packages. So this command will not be useful at this stage. Okay, why? Because I have created my application. Okay, I have created my application, and I am sending you that application, or I'm using that application, same application in some other system. Then at that time, I need to fetch the dependencies from the node and keep it inside my project structure. So installing the required packages. So then only my application can able to run. So in order to do that, I should use this npm install command. So once again, what it will do? So if I provide npm install, if any packages were missing, based on one, there is a file called as package.json file. So based on the versions, based on the packages used on that project, it will be fetched from the Node.js and keep it inside my project simply. So installing the packages for my project. That is what the npm install command is used. Next, not only this, to create a
Sir,
new project. Yeah.
sir, I successfully installed the Node.js, sir, the
Okay.
first one.
Okay.
After that, which command I will run in my command prompt, sir?
You install this npm install -d Angular CLI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I follow that. Shows npm error code like that repeated in for 4 lines, sir.
Set execution policy like that. Any text you got, or execution policy are restricted likewise?
I got, sir. I E404 npm err 404 not found npm err 404 like that.
Okay. Okay. Let's say then. Wait. Give me some minute.
Yes, sir. I also getting this error,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute.
Sir,
Yeah. Tell me.
I think so that the unauthorized error will be coming before downloading Angular CLI.
Unauthorized error.
Yes, sir. I also got it, but I cleared it
Okay. How you can clear that?
by seeing videos, sir, in YouTube.
Okay.
That's
No.
all.
What command you executed? I have that command somewhere else. I don't know where I kept it. That's why I asked, is there any error statement like set execution policy or restricted like that?
Yes, sir. It will be. I think so. It will mostly come unrestricted only before downloading. After that, it will be getting clear.
Okay, I don't see the text clearly. Okay, so if you do any steps, please share in the chat so that others also get
Okay, sir.
clear to the same error. Okay. Thanks for the initiative. Let's continue. Okay. To create a new project, I need ng new. I have to provide project name. Okay. You should not use this open and then diamond brace. So just project name is enough. To mention the name, I have just given. So don't use this open and close diamond braces. Okay. So after this, we want to create. Okay,
No,
we have,
sir.
yeah.
Sir, scroll up, sir.
Mm.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Don't worry. At the end of tomorrow's session, I will share this text file with you. So a few more informations to be added while we work on with our practical examples. I will add it completely and send at the end.
Can you demonstrate the live demonstration of installation, sir, in command prompt?
Actually, in my system, there will be no error will get. Maybe I'll search for something and provide it to you. Right.
Okay, sir. So the
I-
installation from YouTube is also applicable, right?
yeah, that's also applicable. There is no much difference. If you get any error related to that, just search on website. So this is errors. So the common error I got is just a minute. I'll show you. If you are getting error like ngPSM cannot be loaded because running script is disabled on the system, like any error like that.
Code E404, like that I got, sir. npm err 404.
Let me check. .04 means it is not found. npm package fails with 404.
Sir, sir,
Yeah, tell me.
I got the code for that error.
npm config set registry, like
No, sir. Set execution policy remote signed scope current user. It will be clearing that error. It's about 3 lines.
yeah, this code on the right. Set execution policy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
This one.
that one I got. That's why I asked. So do you get any error like running script were disabled?
Yes, sir. Beginning, this will come, sir, that unauthorized error accessing the Angular. By before downloading, it will come this, sir. So I have put this in my terminal, so I cleared it.
Okay, very good. Maybe I'll forward this comment along. Try this one. So if that 404 error comes, the people saying like set registry like this. Add one more comment also. Error 404. I have provided one more comment in the chat. Like try this command if you are getting error 404. If you are getting like running scripts were disabled on the system, then use the first command, set execution policy. shared in the chat. Here are 404. Just this connection.
Sir, the registry is not a valid NPM option, sir.
But this comment.
Sir, for NPM config set register ID, sir.
Okay, wait. Let me confirm one thing. So first you downloaded and the installation were successful, right? For the node package.
Sir, can I ask one doubt, sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Install the Node.js, then only run the npm CLR command, right, sir, in terminal?
Yeah, that is what we have to follow. First step, we have to download and install the Node.js.
Okay, sir. Then Node.js terminal only I write the command for npm at CLR command.
Not Node.js. Normally, if you open command prompt, you can run that.
Okay, sir.
If you click on Windows R, I think Windows R, then command prompt, if you can open, then open it and run this Angular CL installation.
Okay.
If there you are getting some errors, then if getting error like 404.1, then try using this. Or if the running script is disabled, then use this. Actually, in my system, I got this error, this new error I'm seeing. Yeah. Okay. No. This.
Sir, this link, this link also you want to copy it and paste it.
Yeah, that link also along with it.
Okay, sir.
I also searched on Google. I'm not sure it will work or not. Just try. If it does work, then I take it as a learning. Then we'll go for next command to create or generate. So this is for to generate or create files. So simply ng generate component. If I want to generate component, ng generate component, and then my component name. Component name. So this will be in a short form of ng just g just c. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you tell which is the first command to execute, second command, and third command?
Okay, wait. Oh, you're talking about all commands or the for the installation?
No, sir, after node.js, which is the first command to execute in our command prompt, and the
Yeah.
second command?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. So this is the first command, npm install -angular CLI. So these are all for just checking the versions, mode V, NG version, NG help and all. If errors, then you can use this command. Just two commands is enough first. So if you install Angular CLI globally, then that is fine. So the remaining and all at the time of project creation or after the project creation, it will be used.
So what's the second command, sir?
Where? Here?
Sec
Here or in Angular CLI?
the first command I got, sir, in npm install -g. Second command, sir.
Second command is this set execution policy scope. Current user is unrestricted. If so, this command to be run if you are getting error like this. If you don't get this error, then no issues.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கமெண்ட் ரன் பண்ணும்போது எரர் வந்துச்சுன்னா இது போடணுமா சார்?
ஆமா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கமெண்ட் ரன் பண்ணும்போது இல்ல யூசுவலாவே வேற ஏதாவது கமெண்ட் ரன் பண்ணும்போது இந்த எரர் வந்துச்சுன்னா அது சப்போஸ் வந்து ஆங்குலர் CLI it will be installed, but later if you try to do generate component or any other, it will throw some error. So in that way we can use this.
Okay, sir. Only then, so I have to execute only one command.
Yeah, we have to execute only one. Yeah, the installation is not that much complex. It's simple only. First install Node.js, then install Angular CLI. That's enough. If you don't get error in your system, then that is very good. So that we can't ensure because based upon system configuration, we may or may not get errors. That no issues, we can solve it. In my system, when I tried to install, I got this execution policy error. So when after I googled it and searched it, I got this. Then these are all other versions also. There is no any hierarchy. First this should be done, second this should be done. Whenever we having purpose, then we can use those commands. So most probably after all the successful installation, after opening our IDE, we have to first create a project. For that, we have to use this command ng new project name. Then after creating the project, we will create multiple components. So for creating that ngGC. Then after creating, if I want to run the project, npm start or ng serve. We can use either npm start or ng serve. So both are same but different purpose.
Sir, npm start, if we give in script only, sir, it will work. That means we have to go and change, no, sir, that one.
Which one, npm start or ng serve?
We have to change, no, sir. The ng serve will be working, sir, but npm start, we want to go and change that, no, sir. Then only it will work.
No need. Actually, if you provide npm start, it internally triggers the ng serve only.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So both will be used. Actually, if first time or some reloading, some changes were there, then we can go for npm start. Normally, if it is we want to run means, then we can go for ng serve. So both will be
ng serve / open, that means we can give like this, or simply ng serve give will run the project, sir?
No. ng serve is enough.
Okay.
But we have to do one more step. First, we have to navigate into our project folder. Then we have to use this ng serve.
Okay.
So don't worry, this npm start ng serve, where it will trigger, where this is configured, I will explain while sharing the code. Yeah.
Sir, for me, the first command itself, it's not resolved, sir. npm install -g.
Okay, again you got this error. Can you share that error in the chat? Wait, let me finish. Okay, it's 12:48. Okay, let me finish the topic and I'll come back. So run the project. It's
Sir, I shared my error in chat.
okay. Let me check. You executed npm install alone or npm -g? Actually, you are using npm install alone, so that is not
Sir,
needed
do
as
you
of
get my pic, sir?
Gokula Krishnan, right? I got your text.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
The for me, Mohammed Ibrahim, sir.
Oh, okay.
I sent a pic in chat box.
Minute. Pictures are not received, I guess. I didn't get any pictures. Okay, wait. So that's all for the topic today. So others can leave. So those who are getting any errors or any clarifications, please stay. Okay, Mohammed Ibrahim. So okay, now read this. Read that error. How it is displaying from the first statement. I didn't get the pictures in the chat.
Sir, do you get my pictures, sir?
No, pictures will be not be received. I think. Don't get any pictures. I'll just read that error statement. I'll check. First, you installed that Node.js, correct? That installation you didn't get any errors. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the Node.js installation, there is no issue.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after that, what command you executed?
So after that, I executed npm install -g at angular/cli.
Okay. So that command run or not?
That command shows the npm err exclamatory mark code E404.
Okay. So for that error, you tried this. Sorry. First, you tried this command npm registry.
Sir, you want to try me npm config set registry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share it in the chat right away.
அது ஈரம்மா இப்போ சும்மா வந்து இப்ப திருப்பதி போகல நானு சரியா திருப்பதி
I shared you one comment npm config set registry. So try this and try after the npm install -j angular. Let me wait. Any other doubts or any other questions, anyone? For this npm install error, Gokula Krishnan, we no need to go for npm install at this stage.
Okay, sir.
Whenever we have any new project or reported, that time we can use this npm install. But initially, it won't need it. If we create new
Okay,
project, automatically that npm install will be triggered in our application. Then the package will be loaded.
Sir?
Yep.
The npm config set registry is executed, sir.
Okay.
Then after that, I install npm install -g at Angular. That is not the same error I got, sir.
Okay. Angular CLI. Uh,
ANG.
okay. Again the same error or different error?
The same error, sir. E404 not found. NPM error.
Sir, we can put this first one, set execution policies of what that error also. It can work.
Okay. Right. Mohammed, please try this once again. I will share the set execution policy command.
Set execution policy, sir.
I'll share.
Wait, sir. Okay, sir. So can you show me, sir?
Yeah, I'll share. I shared in the chat. Set execution policy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Try this. I'll check in the group.
Sir, it shows set hyphen execution.
You can try once restarting your system.
Sir, I'm using Windows 10, sir. It is not a problem.
No, it is not related to those. It's not a problem.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will try, sir.
So try once again. If it is still not resolved, at earlier tomorrow I will check it. Why it is
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So tomorrow also we are having session at the same time. So please
Yes.
be on time. At the end I will
Sir,
share that.
Saturday, Sunday only, sir. Not in weekdays.
No, it's Saturday, Sunday only. 3 hours and 3 hours session.
Okay, sir. Next week also, say same Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, they will inform whether the slots are available on next week.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all of you.
Sir, tomorrow you send the notes, right?
Yeah, tomorrow at the end of session I will send notes.
Okay, sir.
Because side by side I will explain the topic and add the code content also. So I will share at the end tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.